With the full moon coming, it's hard to say what's going to happen. A lot can change. They've been killing them in the field. We'll find out tomorrow when we get there. My trusty sidekick will finish packing and roll out when Nick gets here. Ducks started pouring off the refuge, and it didn't take long to realize they had flipped the switch. But in this hunt, it was 50s the first day, it was 60s and almost 70 degrees the next couple of days. So they didn't have to fly during the warmest part of the day. The entire day was warm. We talked on the last episode about how the full moon tends to affect ducks. Now this hunt takes place the month after the full moon in Missouri. It was a very similar situation in that it had been cold, birds were in the fields, but the full moon was approaching. Now it's just a matter of, do they flip the day before? Is it 2 days before? When is it? Now you can only go with your most recent experience, and if you're scouting or you're hunting and you're doing well in the field, you've got to stick with that, and that's what we did on this hunt with my cousin. That first morning of this hunt, we went to the field because they had been doing well in them the previous couple of days. It was cloudy, it was raining, the wind was blowing well over 30 for a few days straight. Decoys were falling over, and there really wasn't much flying early other than a few snow geese. At 9:30 that morning, it all changed. Ducks started pouring off the refuge, and it didn't take long to realize they had flipped the switch, and the fields were done. They were all headed to the water that was thawing out. Easy decision, make the move.
By the time you said behind you, she was already making her turn to come back in over here, like right on my corner. That was about the biggest group we've had. 4-pack. We just shot all the men out of it. Nick!
If you're a deer hunter or you know somebody that does deer hunt, you've probably heard or you know about the full moon and midday deer activity. And ducks are a lot the same. During the days of this hunt, they really didn't start doing anything till 9, 9:30, 10 o'clock, and the bulk of the activity was centered around the middle of the day. Back on that Missouri hunt last week, you could say, well, it was middle of the day activity because it was cold. But in this hunt, it was 50s the first day, it was 60s and almost 70 degrees the next couple of days. So they didn't have to fly during the warmest part of the day. The entire day was warm.
Okay, I'll come.
Hey, just hold it. We got another one of them mean old ducks.
Just need to take a little frustration out. You had planned on that. That's why you brought 2 boxes to show. One's forward for this light breeze and BBs for the breeze.
Looking back through the years, we've had some great full moon water hunts. The water to water activity seems much more repeated by ducks during daylight hours than it does from water to a field. Now, I'm not saying don't hunt a field during the full moon. I'm just sharing my experience. Ducks tend to feed right at last light and into the cover of darkness on those days of the full moon and surrounding the full moon. Can you say that a cloudy evening that blocks the moonlight will stop them from doing it? I don't think so. Can you say that extreme cold can keep them from doing it and force them to move during daylight? Maybe extreme cold that's like down close to 0, below 0. But in that hunt in Missouri, the lows those nights was 10, 12, 13 degrees, and they were still dumping in those fields right at dark and in through darkness. And going back through past episodes, we had an awesome water hunt in Missouri on a full moon in 2012.
Nice shooting, boys. Kill that greenhead. Nice shot, Elliot. Nice shot. You ready? 2 drakes. Cut them.
I got that one.
Oh, Elliot pulls it off.
Hey.
Cut him. Oh, 9 o'clock. There's 2 out front too.
2 at 12.
Kill it. 2 at 12. Shoot that greenhead. Hey, hey!
The year after that, we had a great hunt on a small pond during the October full moon in Canada. Again, that early morning, that first hour of the day was pretty slow, but that mid-morning activity picked up, 9:30, and we were done by lunch.
You just want to kill this sprig? Kill it. Kill that drake. Oh, I see him. Kill that drake. Kill him.
This is the disclaimer here. In my opinion, based on my experience, the full moon affects ducks for about 5 days. It's the day of the full moon, it's 2 days after, and it's 2 days before. Now, is it pointless to hunt fields during that time? Absolutely not. They're ducks. They're going to do whatever they want to do. But I think you have a much better opportunity at capitalizing on a pattern or your scouting if you hunt them on water during that time, and especially that mid-morning to middle of the day. activity. It's when it gets the highest, that's when we've had the best hunts. Again, these are my opinions. Everybody's got them on how the full moon affects waterfowl. These are mine. Take it for what it's worth, but you can't discount the awesome hunts that we have had on water during a full moon in the middle of the day.